If Acura can bring back the Integra from the grave, surely Honda can do so with the Prelude. There's a lot of evidence mounting for the Prelude to come back. The Prelude, a front-wheel drive coupe, always a gorgeous vehicle. From the late 70s to the early 2000s, 5 generations of Prelude always had high performance VTEC engines. It had limited slip front differentials. It had 4-wheel steering before a lot of the exotics out there. And the Prelude has a very special place in most car enthusiast minds and hearts. Especially me growing up as a kid from the 90s, the Preludes were always an eye stealer. And while it was canceled in 2001 or so, the Prelude is getting more and more momentum. Rumors coming out of Japan, trademarks happening. What's going on with the Prelude? Also, you have the upcoming EV of the Prologue, which is awfully similar to the name Prelude. So let's get into it. If you love the Prelude, smash the heck out of that like button and comment down below which generation is your favorite Prelude. It's funny that I get a Toyota Crown ad here at KBB with this article. My review for the Crown just went up today, but we're going way back to last fall. Honda Prelude to return as an EV. Those rumors were coming from Best Car Magazine out of Japan. And it was this week, we had so many juicy upcoming vehicles coming out of Japan, getting the green light. So more than likely the Mazda 6 coming out. There's just so much good stuff. If you missed my video, all this was covered in my Lexus Coupe video, the unexpected Lexus Coupe coming out, which is this guy. If you missed it, make sure to check out that video. But they mention the Prelude in here, which I was not expecting. So let's go find that piece where they have the Prelude. There it is, right under the next generation NSX, the 3rd gen NSX. What they're saying about this Prelude is that it is obviously a battery electric vehicle, full-on EV, which I know, guys, no VTEC, no high revving 4-cylinder, but the Prelude now can be rear-wheel drive, which, I mean, hey, what we want from the Prelude, in my opinion, is I want another Honda 2-door. We don't have any Honda 2-doors left that I'm aware of, not in the North American market. You have the S660, I think, still available in Japan. But since the Civic and Accord coupes have gone out the window, the new Integra, based off the Civic, does not have a coupe either. And the NSX is killed, but that was, you know, the special thing about Honda coupes is that they're typically affordable and attainable to most people. And that's what the Prelude needs to do here as a battery electric vehicle. Before we get into what I want out of a battery electric Prelude, what else is going on? Well, over at Motor Trend, Honda trademarks Prelude name, but they're questioning for what? Mommy just went to pick up Gigi's older sister. She's a little sad, so she's going to be on my lap for the rest of this video or until she wants to get off. But back to the Motor Trend article, they're saying that the Prelude could take the form of an electric sports sedan or hatchback or even a fastback, because what's going on in the market right now? Look at the Ford Mustang Mach-E. If that happens to the Prelude, I will not be happy about it. The Prelude is a sacred name, just like the Mustang is, right? And it should not be taken out of context. I know Toyota's kind of done that since we talked about the Crown, right? Toyota's kind of doing that with the Crown, but at least they're offering a true sedan for the Crown as well as other flavors of the Crown. So they're diversifying the Crown, diversifying the nameplate of Crown. Honda, I don't want them to diversify. They have hatchbacks. Now, the only way I'd want to see a hatchback on the new Prelude is if it's a 3-door, 2 doors for the front, and then 1 lift back in the rear. I saw a CRX on my way to drop off my kids from school today. I'd love to see a sort of little, are you getting off, Gigi? No? No. There's no way vehicles can be as small as the CRX nowadays, but hey, if we can have a hatchback with the Prelude, I think that would be pretty sweet. It wasn't that long ago, Honda said they're working on 2 high-performance battery electric vehicles. One was a flagship. Obviously, that's the NSX. We know that's coming. And the NSX has just been teased, which is pretty cool. But I don't think that this is going to come out alone. I think this is going to come out around the same time. And this is what they call a specialty car. In Japan, oftentimes they say specialty cars are coupes. So if the trademark registrations for Prelude, as well as rumors out Japan, are alluding to Prelude, and Honda themselves saying that they're working on a battery electric specialty coupe, Prelude is almost guaranteed, in my opinion, to make a comeback. But don't go betting on it. Don't take it to the bank, because unless we hear it from Honda, it's not official yet. But I'm feeling pretty good about this one. Now, the render Beskar has on top, it looks a heck of a lot like a GR86. It doesn't actually look very much at all like this specialty coupe down below. Now, Honda's already come out with a full-on battery electric coupe concept. This was revealed, I think, in 2019 at the Tokyo Motor Show alongside of the Honda E. Now, the Honda E has been on the market. This thing never came to the market. This is what they called the Honda Sports EV. It is amazing. Would you guys want this thing to be the next Prelude, or do you think it's too cutesy? I love it. I think it's super unique. There's nothing out there on the market that looks like it. I love the long hood. I love the swept back cabin, but from this angle, my gosh, yes, maybe that C-pillar might be a little bit of a blind spot, but for this sort of style and design, I'd be happy to live with it. I think this would be one of the best and most striking coupes on the market when it comes out. Honda's serious about this coupe concept, and man, I would love this to be the next Prelude. Now, I was all finished editing the video, and I just wanted to insert these patented images from Honda. These actually came out in 2019, and the concept, like I said, came out in 2017. And what we have is a completely different interpretation of what could be the same vehicle. So the front ends here, the headlight design is roughly the same, but you can see how much smaller the front bezel area really is. And instead of like the more curved design, we have more hard edges for sure. Looking at the front end of this thing, you can see it's more of definitely a midship vehicle or a mid-engine sort of style, where the canopy or the cockpit is really or centralized between the two wheels. And you can see, man, this big hood scoop design or ventilation or aerodynamic piece, whatever it is, that is completely gone on this model. So I don't know if it's the exact same vehicle. And even this has a different stylized A-pillar as well. So I don't know if it's the same vehicle or if what we're seeing down below could have been what they thought the next NSX could be, because look how mid-engine this vehicle looks. Honestly, I think the original concept looks infinitely better. I like the long hood. I love the swept back cockpit. I like the fastback design. It's almost kind of like an electrified Nissan Z in some ways, but with a little Honda cuteness and roundedness. And what we have here is a less attractive Audi R8 in some ways. So really hope it sticks with the original design, more of a coupe, front engine, rear wheel drive sort of character. So when do I think this vehicle will come out? Well, Honda might be waiting for solid state batteries, so that would be 2028 at the earliest if that's the case, or they could jump the gun, because you got to remember Honda has their own Honda, I think it's their E-platform. I know it's a pretty obvious name for an electric car platform, but that is coming out here in North America in 2026 after their battery plant with LG goes online in 2025. So we could very well see this as early as 2026, 2027, more than likely 2028. And I know that's a long time from now. I look at my watch, like my watch has the year. That's 5 years from now. It's unfortunate, but if Honda can come out with another concept at this year's Tokyo Motor Show, which I will be at, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my hands-on coverage. If Honda shows off a whole new wave of electric vehicles, which very well could, they could do it, I definitely bring you guys the hands-on coverage if they do so. All right, in 2001, the Prelude MSRP was $23,600. We're dropping 23.6 into the inflation calculator. July of 01 versus July of 23. We're at $40,643. I can't drive in the blue car. There's a hurricane outside. GG wants to drive in the Kia Soul that I just got in. I don't even have any pictures of it. But stay tuned for the Kia Soul GT line. I've never driven a Kia Soul, and GG wants to drive in the blue car. So stay tuned for that. So when this vehicle comes out after 2026, if it can come out around $40,000, I know $40,000 now might be about worth $43,000 in a few years. It's hard to say, right? But if this vehicle can come in around $40,000, I think Honda would have something special here with a specialty coupe Prelude rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive as an option. I don't know if I would want all-wheel drive on it. I think having it rear-wheel drive would turn this into a drifting machine. How much power would I want to see? 250 to 300 horsepower from an electrified powertrain, I think, is plenty enough. It would shoot this thing 0 to 60 in probably 5 seconds with how small it looks. The battery pack doesn't need to be much bigger than like 60 kilowatt hours. I know that's going to keep the range down, but we need to keep the weight down to keep this vehicle as fun as possible. Also, we need to have a short wheelbase here to make it more fun to drive and to handle. So that's going to also limit the amount of kilowatt hours you can stuff into this, unless you have a solid state battery, and then, yeah, this thing will be insane. So what would you like to see in a Honda Prelude 6th generation, reborn as a battery electric sports coupe, rear-wheel drive this time? I don't think they would have four-wheel steering. I didn't talk about that, but I just don't think it would be cost effective in today's day and age on a vehicle like this. How much would you be willing to spend for it? What kind of range? What kind of acceleration? What do you want to see from this gorgeous little Prelude? If it came to market looking as cute as this guy, it would be hard not to fall in love with it immediately, and I think Honda would have something really special on their hands. But I'm getting into there. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, haven't hit the like button, I would appreciate that. And subscribe for the Tokyo Mobility Show, or it's a Japan Mobility Show, formerly as a Tokyo Motor Show. Anyways, it's a mouthful. Make sure you're signed up, subscribed, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of my hands-on coverage in Japan while I devour the culture, devour all the new car reveals at the Mobility Show. Thank you guys. Have a great day and peace.